From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm David DeForest reporting. Russian President Vladimir Putin met today with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan and agreed to work toward restoring full relations with Turkey. Following a meeting in St. Petersburg, Mr. Putin said rebuilding trade relations will take time. The two leaders agreed to meet later to seek common ground over how to resolve the crisis in Syria. Turkey and Russia support opposing sides in that conflict. A few words uttered by Republican Donald Trump at a rally Tuesday have shaken up the 2016 U.S. presidential campaign. Speaking in Wilmington, North Carolina Tuesday, Trump said Democrat Hillary Clinton would appoint liberal Supreme Court justices who would take away Americans' constitutional right to own guns.
Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know. But
Trump opponents immediately interpreted that last remark to mean that Clinton or the judges could be assassinated. The controversy has all but wrecked Trump's apparent efforts to restart his chaotic campaign. Meanwhile, Clinton was in Miami, Florida, where 4 new cases of the Zika virus, suspected to have been spread by mosquitoes, have been reported. The Senate has passed a Zika funding measure, but the House recessed before it could pass one and reach a compromise with the Senate on a final bill. Day 4 of the Olympic Games in Rio features popular sports like gymnastics and swimming. High-profile U.S. swimmers Michael Phelps and Katie Ledecky are set to compete. This is VOA News. The United Nations warns millions of people in the Syrian city of Aleppo have no access to running water or electricity. UN officials are calling for a halt to the fighting so the broken systems can be repaired and humanitarian aid delivered. Lisa Schlein reports.
Communities in both East and West Aleppo have borne the brunt of the vicious conflict between Syrian government and rebel forces during the past few weeks. Countless civilians have been killed and wounded. Attacks this week have severely damaged Aleppo's electric and water infrastructure. UNICEF spokesman Christophe Boulierac warns children and families in Aleppo are facing a catastrophic situation. Lisa Schlein, Geneva.
The Japanese government says relations with China are, in its words, remarkably deteriorating due to the continued presence of Chinese naval ships near a group of disputed islands in the East China Sea. The Japanese Foreign Ministry issued a statement Tuesday saying Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida issued the warning Tuesday when he summoned the Chinese ambassador to issue a formal protest. The ministry says Kishida accused China of trying to unilaterally change the status quo over the islands. After the meeting, Chinese Ambassador Cheng Yanghua told reporters it is natural for ships to operate in the waters near those islands. The first U.S. ambassador to Somalia in 25 years arrived in Mogadishu and presented his credentials to the Somali government. Ambassador Stephen Schwartz is tasked with helping Somali officials stabilize the country after decades of civil war and the al-Shabaab insurgency. The productivity of American workers fell in the second quarter, continuing a 12-month decline. The drop brings worries about corporate profits and the ability of businesses to maintain their current hiring pace. The U.S. Department of Labor said Tuesday productivity dropped at an annual rate of 0.5% in the first 3-month period through June. Turkish government said Tuesday that a U.S. failure to extradite cleric Fethullah Gulen could cause great harm to the relations between the two countries. The Turkish government has repeatedly tried to pressure the U.S. into handing over Gulen, blaming him for the July 15th coup attempt in Turkey. The Brazilian Senate Tuesday will begin voting on whether to begin an impeachment trial for President Dilma Rousseff. Despite predictions that the debate could stretch into the early morning hours, it seems likely that the Senate will indeed vote to bring the president to trial, as a simple majority of senators is all that's needed. In Washington, I'm Dave DeForest.
That's the latest world news from VOA.